Hey you guys, welcome back to my table of three. I'm Carrie and I am so glad you stopped by again. If you're new, thanks for stopping by, and always thanks for watching my videos to those of you that do every time. If you're new here, I do blog about lower carb, gluten-free recipes, canning, soon to be dehydrating, so stay tuned for that. And one of my latest videos that everyone is enjoying is a collaboration that I did with Leanne over at Mennonite Farmhouse, and I will link to that below in the description if you haven't seen. That's 5 things I like to can and 5 things that I want again. One of the things I got the most questions about was my chickpeas. These are also called garbanzo beans. And I know in the collaboration a few people said they didn't like the canned beans, but I love the canned beans. And one of the questions I kept getting over and over in the comments is, how do you use the chickpeas, and can you show us how you use the chickpeas? So one of my favorite things to do is use them in stews or curries. So later today, in just a few minutes, I'm actually going to show you a simple curry recipe that I make all the time. We're actually having it today for lunch because it's a busy day for me. And so I'm going to show you how to use these. But before I show you that actual recipe, I'll talk a little bit more about how I do these. We love hummus, so we can make our own hummus with chickpeas. They're already very soft when you can them. So you just simply blend them up. I can actually show you guys, if you're interested in how to make your homemade hummus, let me know in the comments, and that may be a video I can do a little bit later. I also make a chicken and chickpea stew, which is very simple as well. You could I think there I show you how to actually cook the chickpeas from dry, but if you want to skip that step, it is an Instant Pot recipe. You could use your home canned chickpeas, especially if you're trying to use them up. For those of you that said you won't can them again, this is a great way to do that. One last way I'll tell you is a snack idea, right? Who thought you could snack on garbanzo beans or chickpeas? But you can. So I would rinse these off, open them, rinse them off, pat them really, really dry. I would drizzle some avocado oil, olive oil, whatever kind of oil you use. Please don't use vegetable oil, but okay, if you do, I forgive you. But anyway, season it up with your favorite seasonings. You could even put some cheddar powder from one of those companies like Thrive Life or Augustin Farms, where you get on there. Garlic, Parmesan, put them in the oven, roast them until they're crispy and crunchy on a low heat. They are delicious. You can even do them in your air fryer. If you're also interested in me showing you that, I can show you that in a later video as well. So there's lots of possibilities you can use these for. As you're seeing, so I just think they're very versatile. I love having them. I usually can them in quarts if I'm doing it just for hummus, and I'll do it in pints, but most of the time I can them in, I love to can them in quarts for this recipe I'm going to show you now. And let me apologize to all of you that enjoy curry. If you grew up eating curry, this is probably not going to be an authentic enough curry for you, but if you're just starting out, you need to use your chickpeas. This is definitely one I recommend for you. We love it. I hope you love it, and I hope it helps you figure out how to use your chickpeas. So let's jump into the kitchen. I got my Instant Pot heating up, and let's get to cooking this simple chickpea curry. All right, so I put in a tablespoon of avocado oil in here, and I put in the onions, the chopped onions, which is a cup. I'm using red today because that's what I needed to use up from my pantry. I had a few that were getting soft, so I wanted to use that. Hopefully you guys can see the... Whoops. Okay, so into that, after this is softened, and I just go let them soften for a little bit. I'm going to put in 2 to 3 teaspoons of garlic, whatever you prefer. If you don't like garlic, you can use less, but it does give it a good flavor. So you don't want to burn the garlic. So my Instant Pot is just on sauteing, and we're just going to get these soft, okay? And you don't want to burn your garlic. And then what I also like to do is I add curry paste to mine, a red curry paste. I also like to put garam masala in it as well, but today I'm using this curry paste because I was out of the garam masala and I could not find any at Walmart. So I'm actually going to put 2 tablespoons of the curry paste. You can start with 1 if you've never used curry paste, or you're not sure how strong you would like, because Indian flavors are very strong spices, so not hot. I'm not making mine hot. You can definitely add red pepper flakes, chili flakes, dried cayenne, to make it spicy, because a lot of Indian spice foods are, but we are not. And now, by all means, let me say to any of you guys watching again, I know I said it earlier, but this is probably not going to be a authentic curry. This is just how I make it with my chickpeas. When we eat a lot, like when we do our days where we don't eat meat, this is a good protein one. Okay, so to that I am going to add 1 jar of my, I'm going to pull this up so you guys can see me. I am just going to add, actually the lighting's pretty bad, but 1 jar of my diced fire roasted tomatoes. Just, I'm going to put those in. You can use a 15-ounce can of store-bought tomatoes if you like, but I'm just going to use a can of my tomatoes that I had canned last summer. And now I'm just going to let this heat through. This lighting is bad and I apologize for that, but hey, just a quick thing. This is what I make a lot of times when I am in a hurry, if we've been busy, if I need something before we head out. The other day I mentioned that I had made the chickpeas in my canning video, which I will try and put either here or in the bottom below, and this camera's awful. But anyway, the lighting's horrible, but I apologize for that. But I mentioned chickpeas in my canning video that I did with the collaboration of the Mennonite Farmhouse. If you haven't seen that collaboration, I'll put the link below because everyone is loving that. All the videos are superb. But I got a lot of questions about chickpeas, and so I had a request for the curry, so that's what I'm going to do today. So I'm going to add 2 jars now of my chickpeas, and these are straight off the straight off the counter, pantry. Juice and all I'm going to put right in there. Now, depending on how much curry you'd like and how much liquid, you could then add some vegetable stock, which I'm not sure I will today because we don't need it. I like it a little bit thicker and I'm not going to add any more, but you could, if you like it thicker, you could also add more stock to stretch it, like more of a soupy kind of curry, and then you would be able to thicken it if you needed to with any kind of thickener you prefer. But now I'm going to turn you back down and let you see what it looks like as I'm stirring it. So let me do that real quick too. Alright. Whoops. Alright, so I added in the chickpeas. Just going to stir this around, and the tomatoes in there with all the onions, garlic, and the curry paste. Yeah, this is just, it's actually a little bit runnier than I thought. There's more liquid in my chickpeas, but I also like it like this. And then we'll eat it over brown rice. So then what I'm going to do is go ahead and bring this up to warm. Remember, our chickpeas cook in the pressure canner, so they are fully cooked. That's why this is so easy. Now, I would just put the lid on this and let it come up to temperature and get hot. And then you can taste it for any seasonings, like if you wanted to put more curry paste, if you wanted to add curry powder to this, more garlic, any salt. I didn't add any salt because I salt my chickpeas that I added in there. So I will check for salt in a little bit, but I'm going to pause this, let it come up to like a boil in here. If you were going to do this the morning of, you could just put this on warm, and the time you come back to eat dinner, then you'd be ready to do the next step and then chow down. So let me put a lid on this and let it come up to a boil and get hot, and I will be back to show you how I finish it off. Alright, you guys, you can see how that is. I just brought that basically to a boil. I tasted it. It tastes fine as far as salt and pepper and garlic, but I am going to add half a teaspoon of cumin and a teaspoon of yellow, basically curry powder. And I'm going to stir that in. And this is just based on preference. You can taste it and add as much or as little of those spices. I do recommend, if you're new to curry, that you start out with maybe a half a teaspoon of cumin and a half a teaspoon of the curry powder, and then taste and go from there. Now this is done cooking. Since we used our cooked chickpeas, this does not need to cook at all. This is just need to bring to a boil so you can heat the chickpeas up. Everything else is cooked in here, so the only thing we're going to do is I'm going to add 1 can of coconut milk, and this just makes it so rich. So that means this is dairy-free for all you guys that need dairy-free. If you need a vegan recipe, vegetarian, plant-based, this is a wonderful meal. The chickpeas have such a great protein, and you can pair it with brown rice or jasmine rice. Anything like that. It's very low in fat, so if you're one of my followers that do Trim Healthy Mama, use a light coconut milk, and this would be an excellent meal. Now, if you're one of my low carb followers, depending on how many carbs you allow yourself during a day, this may not be a meal for you, but it may be one for your family that maybe doesn't follow low carb. If you are keto, then this definitely will not be an option for you, but stay tuned. I'll make some more recipes for you guys later. We are going to have this over rice today, over brown rice. So what I'm going to do now, and let me just go ahead and finish showing you how wonderful it looks. You could add chicken in here too, you guys, if you wanted to put chicken in there. But I'm going to put the lid on this and just let it sit on warm until we are ready to eat. When I get ready to show this, I will show you a final dish, I will show you the final dish over rice. So there is my simple, really easy chickpea curry from my canned or home canned chickpeas. Alright, so I'm going to get some of the curry and put it over our bowl of rye. And depending on how much juice you can add more juice, or you can add more chickpeas. But this is a really hearty dish. It is very filling. It is one, with the protein. And if you use quinoa or brown rice, it can be a good protein source on Trim Healthy Mama, which is a diet plan some of my followers follow. If not, this is just an excellent family-friendly way to use those home canned chickpeas. So yeah, we are about to dig in and enjoy this before we get ready for our busy day. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this, and I hope this gives you some inspiration for those those home canned chickpeas, and I will see you guys next time on another video.